What have I been up to since I associated myself with TypeSafe a few months ago? Well, when I kind of got there, I don't think they had a plan beyond, can we get Dick to do something for us? So I sort of made it up as I went along and started looking for stuff to do. And how many people here have contributed to Scala in some way? Don't be shy. Okay, I see a few hands. Well, those guys, was the experience really good? Put your hands up if the experience was really good. Okay, significantly less hands. Yeah, we're aware of that. Okay, so what's up? Pretty much everything in the community contribution side of things hasn't been a target for a long time. It's the nature of software development and of people who are very busy doing software development that stuff like this tends to fall through the gaps unless you actually put somebody in charge of keeping an eye on it. So what I've been doing is figuring out what needs fixing, and the things that need fixing are documentation contributions, bug fixing, the tools, which is something that's actually never been a focus. I don't think there's at present a whole lot of documentation on how you get involved with contributing to, say, SBT, the Eclipse plugins, other tools in the space. Core libraries really haven't changed since 2.8 in Scala. And then, of course, the big one, the compiler features, which famously last year, actually within about a month of me joining, Type Level came out and said, damn it, we're tired, we're forking. And I've said this to Miles many times since. That day made my job so much easier, you wouldn't believe it. Suddenly, this thing became like a priority across the board. So anyway, this is the rough ordering of things. Why did I choose this order? In particular, you'll notice compiler features is right at the bottom. If there's time, I'll talk about why that's at the bottom. It's for a good reason. Okay, so starting with documentation. Why did I start with that? It's the best story right now. The documentation is actually pretty complete. Most of my job was just gap closing and getting into the situation. The other thing was I needed to update the documents for the rest of this thing. It's all very meta. I think I stepped about 3 levels back in documentation terms. I kept moving backwards away from the goal. Bit of yak shaving. But I needed to update the docs, which meant I needed to understand all levels of the documentation process. And this is the big one. Within about 2 weeks of starting this, I thought, I'm never going to finish this job if it's just me. I need to get other people involved. So getting the documentation sorted out is the first step to asking and begging everybody here and everybody in the Scala community to come and help me, please. Okay, so what's changed? There's been a slight reorg. Documentation didn't need too much done to it. Like I said, it was more gap closing than anything else. But there is still more to do. Everybody's aware that the documentation has sort of come about, coalesced over time. There's duplications, there's parts that don't flow well. It's a big job to reorg it. So basically, what I concentrated on, very much my philosophy, is fix the squeaky wheels. Anything that I could actually understand, whether it was actually correct or not, whether it, mostly correct, as long as I could get something done, I left it alone for now. What I was looking for was the great big gaping chasms in things. So there's plenty left to do. Oh, I'm not quite sure what I did there. Okay, so is it done? No, it's a long way from done. This is more like a first draft, but I do actually have something. As of 2 days ago, the pull requests finally went in for documentation, and things are starting to really move. This will never be done, okay? This whole thing, this whole effort, as long as Scala's a community, as long as Scala's going, this stuff's going to change. We're going to need people to do this. Okay, so here's my pledge drive. By the way, the images are sort of, it was meant to be a propaganda kind of thing, so there's a lot of, you'll see previously, there's a lot of propaganda stuff like this one, all that sort of thing. For some reason, when I put pledge drive in, a picture of the first 5 doctors and K9 came up, and I just thought, what the hell, I'm going to use that. So here's my NPR-style pledge drive. Okay, Do you want to help us? Okay, we can offer bounteous rewards. Good, there's plenty to do. Call us today and help us meet our target. Okay, how can you help? I hear you cry. In fact, some of you I can see are vibrating in your seats from excitement on how you can help. Okay, there's a lot more documentation work to do. You remember that list of 5 things? The documents, the bug fixes, core libraries, tools, compiler. The rest of that stuff, the documentation still needs work. The rest of it needs the same process that I've just done, and I'm not going to be able to do this alone. So the other contribution processes that we're talking about. Here's another one, and this is going to be this is for the real heroes, and by heroes I mean people who see a grenade that's had the pin pulled out and throw themselves on it to save others. Okay. Pretty much everybody agrees that they want to get out of Jira and into GitHub. Pretty much nobody wants to do that work for excellent, excellent reasons. If you are a masochist, then please come and see me because we have a job for you. This is going to be a big one. Like I say, everybody wants to do this. Adrian Moore has actually done a surprising amount of the kind of footwork, the beginning work, but there's a lot more to do, and this is a really, really bad job. But does anybody here, I mean, as a contributor, has anybody been put off by the fact that stuff is in Jira right now? Yeah, okay, see, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for. There's value here. There's a lot of work, and there's a lot of thankless work to be doing, but there's value there. Okay, the logistics. There's a lot left to do. It was sort of a rush to meet this. I liked having NE Scala because it let me impose a deadline on getting something done. The logistics, we've been back and forth on this, and NE and all of this information could change. We debated having a separate Google group set up for coordinating this contribution effort. In the end, we decided Scala internals is it. Scala internals has typically been compiler and language level discussions. We're going to start moving all contributor stuff in there until it doesn't work. It will probably work. We don't know. If it starts to swamp the other messages, we'll revisit that decision. But for now, Scala internals group is the way we're going to do it. But we're going to start using labels to help us kind of pick out what's what. So we're going to have, just when you create the topics, put square brackets docs or issue or tools, libs, that sort of thing to help us kind of organize it. I'm going to put a sticky up. I meant to do it before I got here, ran out of time. But by Monday, hopefully, there will be a sticky that sort of explains a bit more about this on Scala internals. Another huge one. This is where I turn into a real butthead because not only am I begging you guys, but I'm also naming terms. Beggars can be choosers, apparently. There's going to be a lot of reading before you can actually start writing anything, okay? Depending on the level of involvement that you want to get in, I hope you do want to get involved. There's a lot to read. I discovered this. A lot of my time has actually not been making these changes, but understanding the process, and there's a ton to read. I've been trying to organize it so it's a little bit more streamlined. Much of this, and we'll talk about what you kind of need to read and where you can find that stuff in a second. Much of this is also still being sorted out and will continue to be. Early recontributors will help define the process as much as anything else and help us figure out what's working and what isn't. It's a very meta process. You try and do it, you figure out what's not working, you discuss what's not working, and you try and figure out a better way to do it, which then gets documented and becomes part of the process. Okay, so there's a lot of kind of shakeout that needs to be done. Okay, so here's some of the ways you can get involved. This is the absolute simplest. We are, after discussion, I went back and forth because Activator is a type-safe thing, and I wasn't sure how comfortable the Scala team would be pushing Activator, but I will tell you right now, it's an excellent little tool for quick and easy code examples with some documentation attached. And if you just want to get involved at some level and you don't want it to be, too painful, an Activator template really is the best way you can do it. You can pretty much develop it by yourself. The engagement, the catch 22, whatever of it, is very low because you can write it, you can test it, you can stick it out on GitHub, and you can add it to the list of Activator templates. If you just want to demonstrate some concept or something and get it out there quick, this is a way to go. I write quite a few of these when I just want to demonstrate a concept. So it's the lowest barrier to entry. It's perfect for coding examples. Another nice advantage of it, the code is runnable, so you can actually test that it's working. Something that I'd like to eventually get to in Scala Dock is making sure the code actually works that's shown in Scala Dock. And there's a link there that you can follow. Right. Another nice little task, if anybody wants to volunteer for it, something been on my to-do list forever, is Activator uses a sort of weird HTML kind of template. It would be really nice to get that in Markdown. I'm not sure quite what kind of level of job that would be, but it's a great starter project if somebody wants to get into it. Okay, Scala Dock is another one. Believe it or not, Scala Dock wasn't well documented in the thing. Much of my work has been documenting the process of contributing to Scala Dock, and there's new documents that went up yesterday about that. One of the big ones is helping us to find the missing documentation. Again, God, I'm running out of time. I'll get to the pages in a second. Spell checking. Okay, this is where, again, I start to raise the barrier. We are going to bat things out. As you start contributing to things like Scala Dock and Scala Lang, there will be refusals. There will be cycles of going through and getting things rejected and needing to patch them up. Running a spell checker, grammar checking, checking your code is going to save you a lot of those cycles because, you know, basically what we're trying to do is get this process streamlined, get this stuff in here quickly. There's documentation on it. Okay, next one up is docs.scalalang.org, which is the guides, overviews, tutorials, that sort of thing. Now, for this one, the barrier does go quite a bit up. We expect some revisions. One of the things is that it has to fit in. Oh dear, I messed up my slide layout a little bit. If you don't want to get involved in probably multiple comments and revisions, cycles on pull requests, you can just opt for the wiki. One of the things I've started doing is raiding the wiki for material and bringing it across to docs.scalalang.org. And one of the things here, you should, you know, all of these links are what you should read. This is particularly poignant. It has to fit into the repository if you're going to start contributing to that. Scala Lang itself, this is where we're going to document the process for the rest of the contributions. Only those with a very high pain threshold need apply for this job. Okay, this is going to be a lot of work to get this through. It's the main site people land on. What can I offer you? 0 pay, the boss is a jerk. You know, all these things are, you know, dedicated people, basically. Okay, so what's in it for you? Well, like I said, we're not going to pay you anything. Let's see, there's a lot of work. You'll probably get a lot of rejections. There is some good stuff to it. One of the things I learned from doing my master's thesis, I had a real stickler as my professor for that. He actually taught me to use language correctly. That's one of the little benefits that you get when you do this sort of thing. If you think programming's hard, try interfacing with people sometimes. Compilers are simple compared with people. Okay, so if you really want to level up, this is the way to do it. We're also going to gamify it because people like that. So one of the things we're going to bring back the leaderboard. We're going to feature that prominently for contributors. We're also going to have stickers. Stickers are awesome. They cost almost nothing and everybody wants them. So we're going to have, we were trying to get the stickers design in time for this. Unfortunately, we didn't. It's still going through, but there is a sticker design coming. They'll be at yet to be decided levels, bronze, silver, and gold. I'm pushing for, by the time you get to a platinum, you get some kind of hoodie with like your GitHub handle on it and some, you know, serious bragging rights and that sort of thing. So, okay, so much owed by so many, so few. Of course, you know, these people and many more in the contributors have already done a ton of this work. My job would have been way harder if I'd have had to actually write everything. Most of it was reorging what was here, streamlining it, that sort of thing. Your name could be up here, okay? Plus, you can get a sticker. And that's pretty much it. So I've got 11 seconds for questions. That's really not going to work, is it? But I think it's lunchtime now. I'd love to have a chat with you guys about this. And please, if you are interested, get on Scala Lang on Monday probably, because I need to get that sticky up. And I need to let the guys know that this is coming. And join us. Thank you very much.